Well, when I first went to Ingomar, really, it was my family, because before, when integrated first started, I had an uncle named Carl Keys, and he went to Ingomar, and he was the first black, and they had to call the peoples from Washington D.C. because of so many racial problems down there. But he was brave enough that he was not afraid of anybody. But my grandfather was a minister, and he called the people from Washington D.C. and they came down and met with the peoples at Ingomar School, and was questioning about why was they mistreating him because he was a black man. And after that, the next year is when we went to Ingomar, and everything fell in line.
Everything was okay.
Mm-hmm.
But when your uncle went, he was the first black.
He was the first black.
He did have problems.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember any, like anything from that? I know you said that when you, and I guess you and your brothers and sisters switched to go to Ingomar,
right,
everything was pretty much okay.
Mm-hmm.
But do you remember anything from back then when your uncle went and it was like all the racial stuff going on? Do you remember any of the things that were going on?
Oh, they would call him, out of his name, nigger and all that stuff. And, they would just try to pick a fight with him, but he would never fight.
And what did the school didn't do anything about it?
No.
They weren't going to do anything.
And our principal was named Mr. Philip Hall then, and he was real prejudiced.
Oh, the principal was prejudiced,
Mm-hmm.
so of course he didn't.
Right, he didn't care about them mistreating him.
And what did but your uncle was just like he was gonna go anyway.
Right, he was determined.
And is he still alive?
Oh yeah, he lives in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
He does?
Mm-hmm.
Man, but you didn't have to deal with it. So your first day of school, were the kids nice?
Well, they stood off. But I had a principal named Mr. Robinson. I can't think of his first name. He would, because my last name was Green, if I wore something blue, he would say Francis Blue, and they really got me. I asked him to stop saying that to me, but every time he would call me whatever color I had on.
And this was your principal?
No, this was a history teacher of mine.
Was he trying to be
funny? And since I graduated from Ingomar School, I met him and I talked to him, and he said, yeah, it used to make you so mad. I said, it sure did. And I said, if I could have told you some of the things I really wanted to tell you, you would never forget me.
Oh, but so I don't. Why did he call you that?
He was prejudiced.
Oh, he was prejudiced.
Yes.
And so if you had on red.
Yeah, he called me Francis Red.
In front of the whole class.
Mm-hmm.
And how did that make you feel?
Really angry.
What did the other students do?
They laughed.
Were you the only black student in the class?
Yes, in that class.
In that class. And years later, when you saw him, did he apologize?
Yes, he did.
He did.
Okay.
So those type of things, maybe not calling you out of your name, but it was that kind of stuff that you had to deal with. What about in the lunchroom? How did everybody, sit in the lunchroom?
Black sit with black.
And white sit with white. Was that like by choice or?
By choice. But now when I started playing basketball, then I could sit with anybody.
Yeah.